Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neighborish livecast. I'm Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, and with me, as always, is my man Honey Grand, blunt blowing all day long. Nah, he's a hardworking brother, and I'm so glad to have him with us. Just Mike, what's up, brother?
Hey man, you know what's up. We got family in the building tonight.
Hell yeah. We got a good show for y'all tonight because this is literally one of my favorite people on the planet. And I feel like I throw that title around sometime, but for real, it's a for real. Like, yeah. So growing up, I don't have any sisters, right? But oh, hold on, I'm sorry. I got to do some admin work. Give me a second.
This is every fucking time.
Listen. Yeah. I don't have no sisters, but this young lady is the closest that I have to it. We pretty much grown up together. She's an awesome young lady, and she's a mother, a sister, a wife, a cousin, an uncle in some cases. We ain't gonna get into it now.
Early days.
Barnes, so how you doing?
It's fucked up.
Hey, y'all. Hey. Haven't been with y'all in a long time. I'm glad to be back home with y'all guys.
Yeah, definitely. And I see our feminine energy has popped in. The personification of Black girl magic with the velvety smooth voice, the one and only Miss Aisha. How are you?
Hey, David.
You see that the radio station joint?
That shit got to get you every day. She better not never say my name like that. My wife won't beat her ass.
But look, so this is what I realized.
Do one time. Say hey, Michael. Say hey, Michael.
Don't do anyway. Yeah, look, he done already threatened you by his wife.
Look, I was waiting for it too.
But look, so this is what I realized after I ain't even realized this till after I invited you, Daphney. It came up on my timeline. The memory. This is the same day. Well, the date of the same day. I think it was 4 years ago that we did the Set It Off episode on getting over the hump with you, Aisha, Boss Lady, and Leslie. So this is your anniversary of being with us. You back with us, and I didn't even know. It just came up, and I was like, "How perfect is that you would come back and kick it with us again?" And yeah. So welcome, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. Aisha, how you doing?
I'm great, David. Daphney is one of my favorite folks. Cancer energy all in the room.
Right.
Yeah, we birthday twins, right? Our birthday
That's
the same
right.
day.
Yeah. And Patrice, she's July 7th too.
Yeah. Our other host, Patrice. If she was here, Mike and I would have had to leave. Y'all have just took over because that's how. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Look, Mike ain't leaving.
Look, if Mike say I am not leaving this room, I'm here now. I'm hunkered down. I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, man. So it's a lot of stuff I want to talk about before we get into some of the topics. It's a lot going on. A lot of stuff that's been happening this week. Mike and I were talking. We always have like conversations before the show to go over the topics and things that we've seen going on during the week. So have y'all seen these videos floating? I know you have floating around social media. The Hood Olympics, niggas climbing up milk crates.
Yes.
Where are they getting the crates?
I don't know.
So Mike was saying the back of 7-Eleven. So if anybody else, I worked for Safeway for a while, right? So I know that they recycle these milk crates. Like you empty them and you send them back to the company, they refill them. So it's not that many in production, but I know the people who make them was probably seeing these videos and was like, "We back in business, baby," because they cut the machines back on. We gotta,
Right.
But I mean,
Heavy plastic.
Right. I know they're making money right now, but it's, the things that we find to do, and people really getting hurt. Like I seen some memes, one that had a picture of the milk crate and said this is gonna take out more people than COVID. It's like people getting back surgery and all this stuff.
Listen,
it's funny.
My kids go to school over on Willow Road at Kip.
Right.
We pulled over and watched this.
Oh, they doing
we watched like a whole group of guys stocking up these crates and like trying to run over them. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Like this is a real thing? Like y'all really doing this?
Hey, Snoop Dogg on Instagram, he was like, "Who is the hood architect that is stacking these crates so perfectly so that everyone can run. Whoever's doing that, they need a degree in architecture because they keep them up. But it looks easy because of how they stack, but them things not stable. They wobbly as a mud. I would I don't know. But it's a fad, you know, it's a phase. So people gonna try it to get, you know, to get on or whatever. I just hope nobody gets seriously hurt, man. I can see some injuries coming. Like,
I'm sure there have been.
Yeah. They don't post those videos. Yeah, they don't post those. They go straight to the emergency room. They show the doctor the video so he can know where to operate. But they not putting them out there. You know, so it's craziness though. You know, it's a lot going on. I saw a video. We talked about this a little bit too. The video at the Pittsburgh Steelers game of the woman who smacked the black guy, the white woman. Yeah. And, you know, it was a lot behind it. Mike, you know the whole story, right? What happened exactly?
It was awesome. He struck that little stupid bitch down, struck that cracker motherfucker down, and it wasn't what it was.
That wasn't what I was expecting. A more specific synopsis. Because I didn't see the whole video. I just saw the part. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful, Dave. It was a two-piece. Into the left.
I know from what I saw.
Anyway.
She slapped him first.
Yeah, she stabbed him. And Mike was saying that he mushed her first, but I think from what I saw, she reached up to try to hit him, and he pushed her hand away and was like, "Don't touch me." And then she smacked him. So what I was saying to Mike was, you know, the way I was brought up, Daphne, you know, and Aisha, you know too, the way I was brought up, you never put your hands on a woman. You don't.
He tried not to though.
So that's
if you look at the video, he really tried not to hit her.
Well, I don't know the way he connected. It looked like he was trying to connect. No,
I mean, you got to defend yourself. That wasn't his
right.
goal.
Yeah.
But so, like I was saying,
between instigating and defending yourself.
And that's true. Then so my thing was, you know, like I said, I was brought up never to hit a woman, but I definitely, in certain circumstances, understand. Like I probably wouldn't do it. I got enough females around me that can, you know. So, but. My question is, like, he was definitely. I feel like he was wrong to hit her the way he did because it was a female. And somebody said, "Oh well, when you getting jumped, that wasn't no jump. Come on, man, that was like." Because the dude ain't even do that. The dude took the two-piece and like laid out. He was gone. He was done. He put in the sleep immediately. But
I was always taught that when you throw a punch, make it count.
And so that's the thing. It's like we were talking about it, and so yeah, that's the question. Like, was she wrong to expect not to get hit back, and was he wrong for hitting her? Like, what do you think? I'm gonna start with you, Aisha.
Well, I didn't see the videos in its entirety, but if she was the aggressor, then yeah, he was right to defend himself. She should have kept her hands to herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
you can't assume that he was raised to not hit women.
That's the whole thing. And but I was gonna say the whole fair sex,
right?
Not really, that doesn't play a part at all. If somebody slaps you,
I'm just saying, don't make assumptions. That's all. As a woman, I don't engage men in that capacity because I can't assume that he won't mollywop me because I'm a female. Like I can't.
See, you know what? The funny thing, one of the best things about Aisha,
we appreciate shit like that.
One of the best things about
ultimately, he smacked that white hole like she.
I knew he was going in a bad direction. So one of the things about Aisha that's so interesting.
She jumped out there with her man.
Mike, relax. So is that even though she has this non-reasonable diction, Aisha, she also every now and again she'll throw a word in there to let you know she is what they call Geechee. She's from South Carolina. Because Mollywop. I haven't heard it in a very long time.
I like that word. That's a damn good word.
No, it's a great word. It's a great word. I'm trying to get it back in circulation. But
you put that back
you said, yeah.
Mollywopped her ass.
Me, I concur with his actions wholeheartedly. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and I teach my children to hit back. You know what I'm saying? And everybody doesn't have to agree with me. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? They my kids. So you know what I'm saying? I teach my kids. And also, times are different. Like little girls ain't little girls no more. Like you know what I'm saying?
They don't want me no more.
I will be pissed if I see a video of my son getting completely pummeled by a girl. Like, I'm
And
gonna be mad.
And that's the difference though. If he getting pummeled by a girl, if you stop at that point it's eliminate the threat. It stops somebody from whipping your ass. But if you get smacked in the face, it's not different. Like if a girl smack him.
I mean, he beat her to death. You know what I'm saying? He could have put her to sleep like he did her boyfriend.
That's
you know what
true.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
it
I
looked
think
like he pulled back.
He showed some restraint when he, you know what I'm saying, got her out the way. But she
got her out the way.
She should have never been in the way. You know what I'm saying? Your man, let your man do what your man's supposed to be doing. Like you jumping up there.
Once he made contact with her, boy, he had a chance to square up for her. He wasn't trying to give her.
He pushed her down. Yeah, he pushed her down.
Trying to give her to her. She wanted what she got, a little bit she got. That was like reflex. She was lucky. Shit.
Yeah, she could have went to sleep.
Said, well, Molly wop her ass up and down the motherfucking aisle.
That's the new word of the day. Kids, the new word of the day is Molly.
I know a dude, God rest his soul. I know a dude, he Molly walked the bitch all the way around Blazeburg, Macbeth, Newton Street.
All right, don't get too specific now. We're not sending nobody to prison today. But so yeah, man, just a few things that's going on. I already talked about the so did y'all hear about the sinkhole in the 3rd Street tunnel?
Yes.
Since when is DC getting sinkholes?
Huh?
I mean,
we're in a marsh. We're on a swamp. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard. Yeah, I have heard
50 feet below sea level. Shit about to hit the fan, shawty. You about
listen. The whole bridge fell on Kenilworth. Remember that?
Right.
Yeah, truck hit it though. That was stupid. You leave the bridge, the back of your truck up and don't know. You know what I'm saying? And he's definitely fired.
Yeah, he's
and probably sued. And some more stuff, so
his DOT wasn't even in compliance. It was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
nobody died though. That's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
That is. Yeah. So one of the biggest news stories that's been floating around, something that I know is affecting Mike personally, is the announcement that OnlyFans has decided on October 1st to start banning all explicit content. Yeah, pornographic content. So in the statement they put out though, they said that nudity is still acceptable, but only in a non-sexual manner. So like
no fisting, no double fisting.
Ooh.
Wow.
I guess you can't actually be having sex.
But I mean, if
you can just look like you getting ready to have sex.
No, that's a sexual manner. It can't be so. But I mean, I don't know what the thing is. But
only pudding. If you put.
Oh, you can only be naked if you're cooking breakfast.
Yeah.
On there.
You ever see a chick with bacon grease burns on her stomach?
Hey, Mike, but so because of that story, I looked up some information. They had put some information out about OnlyFans. It's been a lot of people, not only because of the pandemic, but especially because of the pandemic, have been moving to that platform as their main forms of income. And so to date, it has OnlyFans has about 2 million content creators. It has about 130 million subscribers. 300 of the content creators make at least $1 million annually. And
wow, that's something to talk about.
Yeah, and the percentage of people that make over $50,000 a year is in the tens of thousands. So they're really employing it. So that's why it's become such a big story because people are
back up.
What?
The percentage can't be in the tens of thousands. So what's the percentage?
Oh, the number is in the tens of thousands. The percent. Thank you for correcting
me. Percentage can't be in that.
You haven't seen drunk people have a moment of clarity.
I'm not drunk.
That was
I told you. Wait till the end of the show.
That was Mike's moment of clarity. But no, I appreciate that correction. You're right. It's not a percentage. It's the number of people that's in the tens of thousands.
Thank you.
So but yeah, so OnlyFans is saying they made the
give them some Scooby snacks.
OnlyFans is saying they made that decision based on the credit card companies and the people who process their transactions pressuring them. Because a couple of years ago, and I didn't even notice this, a couple of years ago, MasterCard and Visa dropped Pornhub because of they said
you didn't know this?
accusations of child pornography. And so
I don't know anybody who pays for it. Like, that's crazy. Why you pay for
well,
it?
they have a subscription
Need
thing
that
on the
long?
thing. I mean, I don't know personally,
That's
but
what you
I've heard
heard?
that they have.
I don't need that long to
Thing,
finish.
Oh Lord.
It's free in 7 minutes. What the fuck?
Listen.
You're paying for Pornhub, something you should kill yourself. Fuck it.
Mike is having a moment right now. But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was but it's become such a big thing because like I said, it's become the primary income of a lot of people. And you know, people use it. And I mean beyond the whole argument of the validity or the moral, you know, question of sexually explicit content, it's become something that's feeding families and stuff like that. And so, you know, a lot of people are having an issue with their decision to do that. They say that they have a lot of content creators now that aren't of a sexual nature. People like Cardi B who release music. There's chefs on there. There's personal trainers who do workout videos. But the lion's share of their income, of their revenue, comes from, you know, the sexual content. And so, you know, it's I thought that.
So wait, okay. So they're removing the sexual content because Visa is backing out?
Well, no, the credit card companies and the companies that process their transactions don't want to be involved with companies that produce explicit content because of the.
Oh, they don't want no money then.
Well, and that's the thing is like. But,
is it for sex trafficking?
On the flip side of it is, you know, it's lumped in together with child pornography, with sex trafficking, and so they want to stay away from the illegal aspect, which, you know, it's pornography, especially internet pornography.
Pay cash at the strip club. Like, what, how do you decide what content you want to get rid of? You get what I'm saying? Like, how do you decide what avenue you want to support? You get what I'm saying? Because if you want to get out of the sex industry, you got to get out of the sex industry altogether. Because I mean, but I think at this point,
it's not like a blanket decision. Like, so even the credit card companies was like, they didn't, you know, make them do it, but they do suggest that they move, you know, away from it. And like they did with Pornhub, they wound up, but that's because with Pornhub, they actually found the accusations of, you know, child pornography and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a big story because a lot of people are doing it. I know Mike's OnlyFans page makes about $36 a week, and so
a millennium.
A millennium. So no,
that's a lot of money in a week.
Right, coming in. What is he doing on there now? But
what exactly is happening on there?
No, but I think ultimately some of these hoes is going to get back on the pole,
and that's another aspect of it, which is the same thing that some people were arguing when they shut down what was it, Craigslist? I mean, not Craigslist, what was it? Backpage, yeah. Because they were talking about how it gave them a more secure platform to do with it. Yeah, he lost out. Well, he got married now, so it don't matter. But but they were saying that those type of platforms gave them a more secure place to do the things that they were doing, and without it, now they have to go back to the less secure situations of meetings and, you know, putting themselves in positions that could end up negative for them. So I mean, that's a whole nother aspect of it. You know, I mean, it's just an interesting topic. I thought just because they've been talking about it so much. You know, I mean, all the late night talk show people have been talking about it. It's even been on the news a few times. You know, I ain't know. Internet Home was so popular. But they talking about these the top 300 earners make $1 million or more. And when I heard that, I took my shirt off immediately. I was like, listen. No, I didn't.
No, what did you do after you took your shirt off, Dave?
Nothing. I put it back on. I was embarrassed. I said, people don't want to see that. Mine would be the non-sexual nudity that they would talk about. It's bad. Nobody wants to see that. So,
hey, listen, some strange things happen on there.
Hey, I don't want to know. I try to stay away from I'm a Christian. So I'm born again. So I don't
yeah, okay.
But anyway, before I get struck by lightning, we're gonna get into what I wanted to talk about tonight. And one of the reasons that I asked my cousin to join us this evening is because like I was telling Mike, and like I always say, I try to make this a solution-based show. We try to look at situations, and instead of dwelling and harping on problems, try to help people by talking about solutions. Mike's got a solution, and it's not a good solution, but he says that that's what works for him. But just some of the things that I know in life that Daphney has dealt with, and now, you know, all of us have dealt with in life, put us in a position to have a certain level of perspective and to maybe be able to help and have some guidance. But I want to start with a little background on one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Daphney Barnes. So you are the oldest girl of 6 kids. And so can we just talk a little bit about
from my mom?
Up? Yeah, from your mom.
I got other siblings.
Yeah, right. But I mean, but just growing up in a household or in the households with 6 siblings. Can you talk a little bit about like just what that was like, first of all, and then some of the lessons, some of the things that it taught you?
Well, being in the position that I'm in for my family in particular, you know, I'm kind of in a leadership role, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when things happen, tragedy or not, you know what I'm saying? I'm usually the first phone call that go out, you know what I'm saying? And I get everything in order. And it's a difficult position to be in a lot of times, just because, you know, you got feelings and emotions and things you going through too, you know what I'm saying? And you got to kind of shoulder that sometimes to deal with the actual issue and the things that are going on, you know what I'm saying? And being the oldest of that many siblings, it's not easy, but you also get to kind of see them grow and see them, you know, go into their whatever their prospective areas of life are, and it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially when everybody's doing well and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. It ain't all that great when, you know, you got to check people and kind of reel people back in and like get your shit together.
right. Yeah. And that does happen. So one of the things like, right. Some more than others, you know, but one of the things that I've always, that's always interested me about that position, like, cause you know, my mom was in that same position, the oldest girl of 6 kids, and exactly what you talked about, kind of being the strength and the backbone and the person like that first call people make. Why do you think that responsibility tends to fall to the oldest female, probably more than the oldest male?
I think it just depends on your family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Right. In some families, it's the oldest, whether it be male or female. You know what I'm saying? And then in my family in particular, it's the one that they know is gonna get it done.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, in our family, that's Aunt Cookie. You know what I'm saying? If anything need to get done, Aunt Cookie gonna do it.
Right.
For our generation, that's me. You know what I'm saying? And they know that, you know, if they call me, I'm gonna make sure whatever need to get done gets done.
Yeah, definitely. If somebody need to be took out, you know,
hey, however it gotta get done.
What's up, Dave?
Huh? Anyway, so I think I know the answer to this question, but who is the strongest person? Because you one of the strongest people I know. Like if somebody asks me to start, it's a list of people. You probably number 2 on the list of the strongest people. Who's the strongest person you know or have ever known?
My mom. Yeah, my mom done been through some stuff. She hanging tight, you know. I learned a lot of who I am from her. That's dope. Yeah. And speaking of that, that ability to you know, I use the term persevere through adversity. You know, you say you have developed that well, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, because it comes from dealing with a lot of adversity. But where would you say it comes from? I mean, you know, from, I don't know.
You already said it was your mom, but like, where do you know where like
I don't know. You know, I think
that was a terrible wording of the question, but go ahead.
It's something that just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like being labeled the strong one is a blessing and a curse. You know what I'm saying? Because people assume that you got it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? People assume that you can handle it. People assume that it's never too much. It's, you know what I'm saying? And it is. You know what I'm saying? It is too much sometimes. But you know, for me, I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Situations are what they are. Like you know, if I had it my way, I would bring my dad back, but I can't. You know, he's gone. So there's nothing that I can do to change it. So I got to figure out how I'm gonna live my best life in it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's just what I do. You know, I don't even think about it. Like I've never really sat and thought about, how am I going to get through this? How can I, you know what I'm saying, get this done? Like I just do. I just move. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I have to. I don't have a choice. I have children. I have a husband. I have, you know, family that's dependent on me continuing to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't really have the luxury of saying I'm gonna sit down and cry all day today. You know what I'm saying? I'm sad. I'm feeling sad. I'm a wallow in this sadness for a year. I don't have that luxury. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I have to get up. I have to get my day started every day. Right. And keep it pushing.
And you talked about sometimes when it gets heavy, when it gets to be too much. So what's your in those times, like what's your reset? Like what do you do to kind of focus yourself?
That's really a new place for me, because I never really been here in this place that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? This past 2 years really has been something different for all of us, I think. You know what I'm saying? And you know, let alone just the pandemic alone has been tough on me personally, because I'm not a sit at home kind of person. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm used to working, getting up in the morning, getting dressed, going into work, and you know, doing what I do, doing my running around when I get off, picking up kids, dropping off kids. You know what I'm saying? Right. The whole sports scene has stopped, and I got 3 sons, so it's like that alone has been a lot on our household, just kind of being in here together with one another. I've learned a lot about myself, my children, my husband, the rest of my family, since we've been kind of confined in here together. And then, on top of all that, I never lost my best friend before. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was my, my go-to person and my, my outlet for things. And I don't have that anymore. And then I never lost my dad before. And then turn around and lost my cousin right behind that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's been a place for me where that choice that I said I didn't have, I had to make for my own sanity. You know what I'm saying? And honestly speaking, when you dealing with grief, especially grief, like the loss of someone, you got to get help. You got to reach out. Like you cannot shoulder that by yourself. Like you just can't. I tried it. It don't work. You know what I'm saying? I had to reach out. I had to like really pull people in and really be somebody that I'm not used to being. You know what I'm saying? I don't call people and ask for help.
Good for you. Right. Good for you.
Yeah. So that's been, it's I'm still in the middle of it. I'm still in the whirlwind of it. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of figuring it out.
Learning things about myself. Like I didn't know I was crazy before now.
You didn't know
I was normal. Yeah, no, I thought I was normal. I'm a crazy person for real.
Yeah. So I'm the crazy one, and nobody else is crazy.
No, that's not true. Everybody's crazy.
Right,
it's very few sane people in the world.
Yeah. It's the people walking around thinking they sane, as
Yeah, those
so I thought I was crazy because when you asked her, what put it in her, what that gave her that drive, that perseverance. I apologize because I went to one situation and one thought process, and that would be your grandma. So, and that was for me. So
yeah, that's a whole nother. Like she shaped me as a human being. You know what I'm saying? As a person, she gave me all those little things that make me into this person. You know what I'm saying? Just the heart that I have, the care that I have for just human beings in general. You know what I'm saying? I got that from her. My love of family, my loyalty, all of those things came from her. But being strong when you're dealing with something, I never really got that from her. She never showed me that. You know what I'm saying? She just was always, I thought she was a superhero. Like, I never seen her go through anything. Like, I never actually visually seen her experience loss and be in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always seen when people pass away, she get everybody together, she handle it, she get them in the ground, she get, you know what I'm saying? And I never really got the opportunity to see her be broken. So, you know, my mother, I'm experiencing that with her right now. My father was a major, you know, even though they were divorced and, you know, long separated, they were best friends. And my father was, you know, they loved each other. And to watch my mother, you know, go through that, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to kind of draw from her on, you know, how I dealt with that as well. So
and I was going to talk about the village aspect of it a little bit, just because of the people that you have around you, you know, having your brothers and sisters and your mom and people, and, you know, now your husband. Like last year, you know, around that whole time, you were going through the process of getting married, and
I got married a week after my father died. I hadn't buried my father yet.
He was here for your wedding, and so but I mean, adding that other person, that other, you know, level of confidant and friend and person just to be close to, you know, how much of that helped you in those situations?
It was helpful in my dark moments, you know what I'm saying? Because his goal is just for me to be happy, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I gotta do whatever to make her, you know, come out of this. But adding another person into the situation, and that person not really being equipped to deal with your grief and know how to kind of, I guess, handle it or handle you when you're in those moments is difficult sometimes, which is why I say it's important to really reach out professionally to get that help, because, you know, sometimes it will be moments where I just wasn't feeling it, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't able to articulate, you know, hey, I'm sad about this, that, and the other, and I ain't really feeling all that, you know, into it today. And he was ready to go, you know what I'm saying? Then he like, look, snap out of it. I need you to do something, like, you know what I'm saying? And I understand it, but, you know, in times where you're mentally, you're not all there, it's like you can kind of take that as like insensitivity. And it's like, you know, I'm going through something, like,
you get the heart, and like, you don't forget it. It gets etched in your tablet, in your spirit. Now that's you carrying that shit with you. It's like, you know what? Man, fuck all of y'all.
I've been there though. Like, it's really like, you know, when people say you grieve in stages and things like that, you know, I always just kind of was like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's real. It's real. Like, I've been extremely depressed. I've been extremely angry. I've been, you know, extremely outside of myself at times, and just, you know, wilding and crazy. Like, hey, look at me. Like, I don't look nothing like I did. You know, I heard cut my hair off and dyed my head, all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, I just been going
crazy though. Crazy. I mean, you know, people make changes all the time.
For me, it was, I felt like I was in the middle of my crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, it's you lose yourself. You can lose yourself in grief. You can lose yourself in it.
All right. Do all of you hear an inner voice inside of you talking to you? Like, if there's something inside of you talking to you right now,
I want to mess with you and be like, "Nah, Mike, what the hell are you?" But no, I mean, I think everybody. I think everybody.
Yes or fucking no. Look, nobody's that high as high as that. Is there something inside of you talking?
Yeah.
You understand that there is a science to. Not everybody has that, and that blew my motherfucking mind to know that everybody doesn't have an inner thought process, an inner talking to. There is a disconnect for some folks, okay? And so when you come across,
that might be something pathological. Like, I feel like to not have that inner voice,
the inner monologue, that's
probably pathological.
the science hasn't gotten there, but it's on both pathological, it's on both lines, because you got motherfuckers who are aware of all things, and they do pathological shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So ultimately, pathological is that in and of itself. What I'm saying is, there are individuals who don't have an inner thought process, and when you learn that about people around you, there's not thought process. Forgive me. It's a conversation. Like some of us don't have a conversation within ourselves.
Right. There's no introspection. Yeah.
I wish it was that it was a real fucking not even thinking about before you speak, more so a literal dialogue inside of you, deep down, like when nothing's being said, or we're all being quiet. Mike's talking inside of you. Something's being said. Whatever the fuck, he's talking some dumb shit. He's stupid. He had whatever. No, ultimately, there's something inside of you being said, and some folks it's not, and that's what's scary, because you don't recognize that even in your children and your family and your friends. But what you do recognize is the ability to understand and love. You just gotta keep pushing, man. You keep pushing. That's all.
That's how you know Mike got to the end of it. So you just gotta keep pushing. But
right.
But no, it's I just saying, Mike. But
I'm not as high as you think I am, Dave.
I think you are. I think you don't know you are because you're high.
Dave, it's all tea, Dave. It's all tea. Let's fucking with you.
But no, yeah, man. But definitely, Daphney. So yeah, that's how you kind of deal with them, trying to get it back on track from Mike's digression. But
that was Mike's inner voice that asked us to move it.
The question. Everybody be quiet and listen for it. You gonna hear it though. But but I remember you talked about some of the loss, or all of the loss over the past couple of years that you went through. And I remember a moment when we spoke right after your best friend had passed away. And you talking about we talked about somebody, I don't remember exactly who it was, but somebody came at you, in a certain type of way, feeling some type of way because you hadn't reached out to them or something like that in that moment. And I was telling you that my mom had a similar situation when our grandmother passed away, and it's always going to be people who feel like they're more
important than what you're going through. Like sit down.
yeah. That's why you remember what I told you. Fuck them people. They'll be all right. They will be all right.
Say with your chest, Dave. Say with your fucking chest.
Right.
Anyway, those people are gonna be all right. Don't trip off and stuff like that.
Well, in the moment, just because I was just in a very weakened place, I allowed that in. But you know me, like I'm not that kind of person. Like
right.
You lucky you caught me there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like people. I'm in a place right now where I'm holding people accountable for how they make me feel.
Yeah, and that's an important place.
That's one of the things that I'm working on for me. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time coming though. You know what I'm saying? And going through the situations that I've gone through over these past, 2 years or whatever, has kind of brought me to that, head on, where I got to face that head on. And, I've lost a lot of friends and people, that I felt like, I was very close with, or that I did a lot for and all that kind of stuff. And, and I just felt like, dang, you ain't respect me at all as a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't respect none of this loyalty I was giving you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just kind of was like, oh, well, you don't deserve me. Bye, I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
But I'm at a place now where I'm kind of like, like, hey, look, you supposed to be my girl. You supposed to be my homie. Like, where you at? I need you right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make people accountable for the place that they want to hold in your life. And it's like, having all these frivolous friends and all that stuff, man, I'm down to like 2 friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like real, genuine friends. You know what I'm saying? Like good friends. Them friends you tell the good, bad, ain't the ugly too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, you got your friends who you tell your friends something that happened and you like, girl, you ain't gonna believe what happened and blah, blah. And then you got your good friends where you like, girl, let me tell you, look, I was wrong. But this what went down. You know what I'm saying? This what I did. This what happened in response. You know what I'm saying? And I'm down to like 2 really, really good friends now that I trust with my physical self, my emotional self, and all of those things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, losing my father and losing Craig and Lisa, and that has just kind of it woke me up a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't let everybody into your grief. You know what I'm saying? You can't let everybody into your circle. You can't let everybody into your head space and things like that. And after losing them, I just kind of sat in my thoughts and just kind of thought over all the conversations that I had with people and the things that I gave people and jewels and things that you drop on people. And it's like, damn, like some of those people wasn't even really for me. You know what I'm saying? And not that it's wasted, because everything is a lesson, but it's like, I'm more concerned now about the people that are really for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't waste time on people that, friends with somebody and you stop calling me and you stop, you know what I'm saying? And I can see you, I can see that you're all right, I can see that everything. Like, I'm not, nah, we're not doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm focusing on the people that's focusing on me, the people that put me as somebody important in their life. You know what I'm saying? And people make time for the things that they genuinely care about. People make time for what they want. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not important, people going to show you that you're not important.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's kind of the baseline. It's like, not even dwelling on those people who show you, because people are going to show you where they want to be. Because, people say stuff, words, sometimes you can trust people's words, but most of the time you can't. You pay attention to their actions. They're going to show you who they are and where they need to be. And once they do, it's cool. Like, I don't even, I probably have to work to get to the point where I'm like holding people accountable necessarily, just because it's like, for me, it's like, if you show me, that's cool. If that's where you want to be, but don't be surprised when you're there. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't act like you shouldn't be there, or you should be further, or higher. You show me where you should be. So that's one of the things, just like, and time will show you stuff like that. It's and then it has, I can see, like, a lot of stuff that you say is all the lessons, that you pick up through life. And it's just being somebody who's known you since you were born. It's dope to see the growth and the maturation and what how much you still learning and how much we learn, together. And at the same time and stuff, it's just cool to see, the understanding and the growth. So what would you say, like, a lot has happened in this time, like you said, over the last 2 years. If there was a lesson that you took from all of it, is there something like the culmination of everything? If there was one lesson that you took from
just being grateful, man. Just being grateful, like, for everything, every moment, every conversation. Like, you never know when it's gonna be your last time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just so grateful now just to be alive, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful just to be alive, but I take time now and really focus and really, you know what I'm saying, put myself into my conversations that I'm having. I don't have frivolous conversations anymore. I don't call people just to sit on the phone and be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go hang out and talk about people and all that kind of foolishness. Like, I don't do none of that stuff no more. Like, I don't have, it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so pointless. Like, and it's like, after losing all these people that are so close to me and just kind of having those moments where I was regretful that I didn't call that person and say what I needed to say, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of regrets about, things that I could have said to my dad and I didn't say, and, you know what I'm saying? Things like, because it was so unexpected, but it has just taught me to just tell people how I really feel and honestly hold people accountable for how they making me feel, and not just allowing people into my life unnecessarily. You know what I'm saying? Some people just come in your life and just be causing problems, like, you know what I'm saying? And just to give you unnecessary issues and unnecessary conversation and just things like that. It's just, it's just not worth it at the end. And another thing too, it's like losing my best friend and my cousin more so. When people your age, in your age group, and people around you start, kind of leaving, it puts you in a weird place because it makes you aware that it's like, our time is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it reminds
and it's
you
like
of
not
mortality.
like not the hope, not like your next type thing, but you know what I'm saying? But like our time is coming. It makes life seem so much shorter. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you young, you just think you got all the time in the world to get it right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you really don't have all the time in the world to get it right. Like get it right now. Like
yeah, you don't. And it's funny you say that because for me, I am hedonistic about the pursuit of happiness, like hedonistic. So I surround myself with people who make me happy. I mean, that's baseline. And just thinking about it, like as far as with grief, for me, grief is it either opens you up and makes you that much more sensitive, or it forces you to shut down. Like those are the two places most people move in. And I know for myself, the losses I've had definitely make me more sensitive. Like I'm that much more open to the people who I love. And I take the time to visit. I take the time out to call. I make every day significant because that conversation we're having now, we might not have tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like that experience. So the energy that I really try to embrace and put around people is either to uplift, encourage, entertain, you know what I mean? Like a good story, joke, whatever. Because it is so fleeting. Like life, it feels long when you're suffering, but it is quick when you're having a good time. So
that's the bottom. That's the baseline right there.
Yeah. And my stance, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So I mean,
I think it has worked. I think it has worked that way for me as well. Like, I think it has softened me a lot. Just experiencing that grief at that level, just kind of back to back. Because I could be lethal with words, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of that bruteness is not gone. You know what I'm saying?
No, I tell people, the line in me is she sleeps.
Severely diminished. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a lot more careful in how I handle people with my words. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that there's a lasting effect. Like, you know what I'm saying? People can say, oh no, I'm all right, it's okay. Nah, like you not though. You know what I'm saying? Like that was hurtful. That I didn't have to say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm more conscious of the things that I say now. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of how it rubs people. I'm a lot more apologetic now, because sometimes I'll be like, oh well, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mean like that. And now it's more of a let me call and let me, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm sorry if it came off that way. That wasn't my intention. You know what I'm saying? And I have conversations with people now, and I address when I make somebody feel a certain way.
Okay, what you about to say, Mike?
That's healthy. That's what you gotta do. I was just saying she was cold, and now she's not so cold. She's all right.
No, that's what I should need to. No, I'm just playing. That was dope. But since we have these two intelligent women here, I feel like I'm pandering by saying that. You guys know you're intelligent. Anyway, I do want to ask you, and we're talking about grief and how people deal with it. Do you, and of course, it's no statistics but in your opinion, do you feel like grief hits women and men differently?
No.
Yeah.
And I say, no. But I will say this. I feel like men have been conditioned to show us a different response.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that, when men are suffering through grief, the common thing is to just kind of shut down and pretend like they ain't. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of try to be strong for the family and, things like that. Women, to me, are just more emotional creatures anyway, because we allowed to be. People expect us to cry. People expect us to be, you know what I'm saying, go into depression and, things like that. And it's not really that big of a deal when women do it.
Right.
But that's just one of those things that, society has placed upon us and we just kind of fed into, and it's stupid.
Yeah, it's definitely a dangerous stereotype because I mean, but that's another thing like that you learn with age and with the gaining of wisdom, maturation is that all that stuff, all those societal norms really have no bearing on how you should live your life. What were you gonna say, Ish? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that with grief, I think it's pivotal that you allow yourself like to go through the feelings, like when you're the loneliness, you know what I mean, like the hurt, the just that shift, like it's imperative that you go through all of that so that you can begin the process of getting to what is your new normal, you know what I mean, because you'll never be who you were before the change, whatever it is, you know what I mean, you'll never be that person again, but you now have to discover and learn how to live your life in this new space. Like the closer the person is to you, of course, the harder it is, like people who are extended and further away, it's like you haven't talked to them a long time, so the missing is different. But like when it's your best friend, when it's your family member, your child, people who are close to you, your lover, it changes you like forever. Like you'll never be who you were before that. So I don't think we do ourselves a service. And like when you're talking about the strong, it's funny that you said that to Daphney, because I literally was thinking about this in the kitchen. I was like, I don't know how I got the role of being the matriarch in my family. Like I didn't plan to be this person, but here I am in this space. And it's like I have to do it. I have to do with excellence, because the people who I'm doing it for, they don't, if I fall off, where are they going to go?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who are they going to come to? So it's like, I make sure I create buffers and spaces for myself so that I can be okay. So I can be vulnerable. So I can be a mess, so that I can have my moments of imperfection in peace. And then I can pull it back together. And the people who rely on me get to have that person, but I definitely build space where, Aisha is off and fucked up and I ain't shit.
And it's okay. It's like she said the brown word, but that's another thing that comes with that maturation, is understanding that, it's not about adjusting to these situations necessarily as much as it is about learning how to continue to be who you are, but better, more efficiently. And so those things, and like I definitely agree, and I always say that's one of the things that grief and loss taught me, was how important that process is, and how much it's a personal process, and so everybody deals with it differently, but it's so important that you deal with it, that you feel those feelings and live those. It's all a part of that experience. It's all a part of life and building the character of who you are. It's a reason why you're never the same person. It's because you're building, This is
Aisha post so and so. This is
Aisha
right after XYZ. So when you were talking about the person who wanted to talk to Daphney and she was too, she's grieving, it's like that is insensitive. It's like if I don't speak to you for 7 months, bruh, like it is what it is. I don't speak to you for 2 years, I'm going through this process. Like there is no time limit on how long a person should process whatever grief they're going through.
I think that other people shouldn't put a time limit on it. I think that you should, though. And not necessarily a time limit, but like you said, make sure that the process is working toward getting to that new normal, because that's where people kind of fall off, as they wallow in it, right? And they stay there.
That's what I was going to say, Dave. Like you got to put a time frame on yourself to get back to whatever your new normal is going to be. You know what I'm saying? I think that my mistake for me in the beginning was deciding that it was easier to not deal with it, period. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of just told myself like, okay, I'll think about my father later. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll think about Craig later, because right now it's too much to think about and I'm gonna get swallowed up in this. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I told myself to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like I'll think about them, you know, when I'm by myself or whatever. And that time never really comes for you to really sit down and get into it. You know what I'm saying? And I had to really take a moment out by myself and get by myself and do that, like that ugly cry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I had to get it out. You know what I'm saying? I had to like really sit and think about
grieve.
My
you got to
father,
grieve it
think
out.
about all of those moments and times and things that I don't want to forget. And you know what I'm saying? Even our hard times that we had, and you know the arguments we had, and the disagreements and things like that. I had to like really sit and get into that because I wasn't able to really move forward productively, just kind of letting that wait. And honestly speaking, you never heal. You never heal. No. Like healing from losing someone is a myth. Like
I think it's a process.
You just callous around
you
it.
Learn
you're never that same whole person. No.
Yeah, like you learn how to live with that little missing part of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what I'm doing right now. Like I've learned how to live with knowing that my dad is not going to call me every day. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, I know where my father is. I can go and see him whenever I want to, whenever I choose to, but don't expect those calls. Don't wait for that. Don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, once you get into that space where you kind of learn how to productively live and manage, even with that hurt that you always gonna carry, it's like you're able to kind of be a productive person in society, like, you know, because it was really shutting me down. Like it really was, because I just chose not to wallow in that. And then I was in a difficult space because it's like I lost my dad a week literally to the day I got married.
Right.
So it's like I'm trying to be in the moment of that because I'm sharing that moment with someone else. But I'm also trying to like not be in that, you know what I'm saying, in losing my dad. So it was like I was in a difficult space, and I feel like a lot of it was just me acting for other people.
Yeah.
I think
like just trying to be strong. You know what I'm saying?
You held together for me. You held together for all of us.
Yeah, for all of us, because we all. I know we were all at the wedding.
I know we were in your eyes and see your strength. It's like, okay, well, you know, I can smile too.
That's what because I was like, we were all at the wedding, just looking at you like everybody's talking like, I don't know how she's doing it. It's amazing that she's doing it. She's doing it though. Look, there she goes. She's doing it.
I felt it though. I felt it. Like I could feel all eyes was kind of like on me. Like
she also the fucking bride. Best part of being the wedding. You the bride.
Like, all of hot at my wedding. Like, no, I'm not about to do that. Like, you know. But it was a weird place. Like it was a weird space. Like honestly, now thinking back on it, I vaguely remember those little moments, you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because it was my wedding, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of things got missed. Like it was just so much stuff like we didn't do that we were supposed to do, and it was just like whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Successful all in all, you know. I it was beautiful. I felt beautiful. I felt amazing, you know what I'm saying? It was my day, and I was in it, you know what I'm saying? But I was also somewhere else too, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Of course,
I was gonna say I felt like it was perfect, man. I felt like it went, you know, beautifully. Everything.
Well, it was perfect for me.
Yeah, it was a good day, and I think it was something, you know, that at that moment everybody kind of needed. You know what I'm saying? Something to look at and smile and be happy about and put their joy into, you know, with everything that was going on. Not only, you know what I'm saying, the tragic losses and things like that, but also, you know, in the middle of the pandemic, you know, and you know, and stuff like that. So it was just something to kind of rejoice and feel good about.
Love.
Love is something to rejoice. And so let's talk about that a little bit. So being married, because so your anniversary is when is your anniversary?
October 24th.
October 24th. So you're coming up on a year. I know it's not, well, I'm not gonna say I know, I don't know. So I'm gonna ask you, what's the biggest difference between not married Daphney and married Daphney?
Okay, so I know this is gonna seem super crazy, and I'm not the most disrespectful person in the world, I swear. But the respect, and that's just being honest. Like, I have a healthy respect for my husband. I really do, and a lot of that came along with marriage. I'm just fashioned in that way. You know what I'm saying? Where I feel like marriage is big. It's big. It's major, and it should signify a major change in the way your relationship moves. My boyfriend is not gonna get what my husband gonna get. Why? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Why
yeah.
would I do that?
Yeah.
So, you know, the respect that I have for him has changed. You know, there's no outside voice. It's only what he say. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just being honest. You know, I don't consider other people's opinions and advice as heavy as I do my husband's. And that has been a major change for me, because I don't really consider anybody's advice for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I usually hold myself down and do my own thing and kind of operate how I want to. And it's been the biggest change, and it's also been the biggest pain in the ass ever. Like, you know, because it's hard trying to not be who you've always been for the better of you and another person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do that. Like, and a lot of our biggest hurdles are him saying, you know, I get that you used to operating and running the show, but you got to move over and let me kind of do my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a difficult place to be, because it's hard to relinquish that control.
Right.
Yeah,
Control.
you know what I'm saying? It's hard.
I've heard people
I
say
hear Daphne 100%. And the longer I'm single, I'm like, Lord, I need for you to keep
It's hard.
softness, like keep a softness to me, because I that's who I am. Like I hold it down 100%. So it's like, if for a man to come along in my life and for me to take direction and be under his dominion, he has to be, in my eyes, more powerful than me.
That dude.
I think,
like, you gotta be that.
And that's a heavy load, because I'm a powerful individual.
I think at this point, Aisha just needs a good wife. Is what I'm just picking on you, man. No, but
That's terrible.
I think
but
it's
no,
a testament.
I've heard people say. Oh, what'd you say, Mike? Go ahead.
I'm thinking it's a testament to Rob, though.
Oh, I mean, definitely finding the right person, right?
You have to be a worthy leader for anybody to follow you.
Yeah,
right.
If you have a good woman, if you have a good woman who will walk beside you, not even follow you. Like, personally, I love, following her, because she's a worthy leader, my wife, and she's very willing for me to lead as well. Actually, show me.
I mean, I'm good being a co-captain, but I just got to know
balance. It's a delicate balance, but
it's very easy to cross over and hop in the driver's seat when he moving a little slow. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, never, it's like, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
But I got to hop in the back seat, so I won't even feel the need to put my hand on the wheel.
Miss Daisy, get your ass in the front.
Yeah, we still struggle with that. I still grab the wheel from time to time. Like,
and I was going to say, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not, honestly speaking, this is all new for me. Like, really, and it's crazy, because I've always been in long-term relationships. Like, I've never, you know what I'm saying? Like, all my relationships has been like years and years and years. And it's like, but I've always been in kind of like the headmaster's role in all of my relationships. So it's a weird place for me to kind of be the co-captain versus the captain. Like, I like to run my ship the way I want my ship to run.
Are you really ultimately, y'all? It's not. Nah, y'all the captain. It's just that
it's different, but it's different. It's different ways of being. If
they're happy, the fucking house happy. We all happy.
Respectfully.
Listen, happy wife, happy life. I believe that, but I also believe that, you know what I'm saying, we got to have some space for him to be happy and be able to move and
Exactly.
operate how
I
he
think
needs
the
to.
reason that you don't hear anything about happy husband is because I think women, to a
It
certain
don't rhyme with
extent,
nothing good.
stamp. Not exactly, but no, I
What
think women
did you
to a
say?
certain, she said it doesn't rhyme with anything, but I think that to a certain extent, women have always kind of practiced that. Have all, you know, I mean, it's classes on how to be a good wife and, you know, to treat your man and things like that. And so I don't think that, and not that women even necessarily need it to a certain extent. I mean, it's some women out here that's, you know, that's lacking definitely in some stuff, but for the most part, you know, I feel like women have, you know, have kind of got that down. They don't need a saying because it's like, no, I know what to do to make. I know how to make this nigga happy. He'll be all right, you know. And
We
but,
all think we know.
well,
We all
yeah.
think
But
we
then
know.
you learn, like you think you know, but then you learn, but you make
And then
the
you learn,
adjustment,
yeah.
right? And it's
Yeah.
like, is it that dudes don't really make the adjustment? That's why they need saying, like, niggas got to remind, hey, nigga, happy wife, happy life. Put that, you know, stop doing what you're doing. Get in there and make your wife happy, you know. So, but I do want to ask you guys if you feel like, because I've heard it said that reluctance to relinquish that amount of control over the situation is what makes women struggle in relationships. Is that true? Do you believe that's true?
I believe that is true in certain instances. For me, I think that where we make our mistake is that we don't define where we're strong at in the relationship and lead in those areas. I know for me, I'm a strong leader, but my husband is as well. And he keeps me grounded financially. That's his area. That's his thing. Like he hold that down. Like he makes sure that the money right. He makes sure that I ain't overspending because I see a nice bag and then rent be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, and he'll be like, nah, put that down. We got rent. So it's like, you know, I have to respect his leadership in that area because he makes sure that that's right. For him, I think, you know, as far as the kids and everything are concerned, that's my area. That's where I'm strong at. That's what, you know, I make sure all that's ticking. His kids, my kids, like everybody got what they need. All the school stuff taken care of. Everybody, you know, got it together. And that's a weight off of him. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, we kind of balance each other out. He's strong in the areas he's strong in. I'm strong in the areas I'm strong in. I don't cross over into his areas. Don't cross over into mine. And you know, we making it work.
Yeah, and I think that balance is something that also if you find it, you're able to find it. It's I think that's a testament, like Mike was saying, to finding the right person, to the person that Rob is, and how he balances you, and how he's able to do that, you know, and finding that. So, with that, another question. I don't want to feel like I'm just asking the ladies a whole bunch of questions, but I you know, harp a lot. I have female friends that I talk to about you know, the relationships and things, and I talk a lot about selection process. You know what I'm saying? And finding that person who, like Mike said, is going to be the leader, you know, that you want to follow. And like all these said,
that's not what happened. That's not part of the selection process at all, Dave. At all.
It's not. It's trying to find somebody who's
gonna say, who am I gonna go follow? Him. Nobody says that. Dave.
But shouldn't they though? I mean, well, shouldn't you be looking at the person's ability to lead? Shouldn't that be something that you based on?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily lead, but I think the complement of each other's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, you know, find a person who your weaknesses are their strengths and vice versa. That way you can fill in appropriately without anyone feeling like their voice doesn't have merit. Like you want each person to add value and have influence in the relationship in a space where they can thrive. Because if you are depending on like the whole finance thing, you know, I'm pretty good about money. I would pray that my spouse is as well. But if he is not, I would not begrudge him. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be like, you know, why are you this way about money? Like I'm not going to entrust him with that responsibility if that's not his strong suit. I'll take ownership for that. And like, you know, the spaces he knows that I'm not strong in, I wouldn't want him to put that on me. Like if I was the type of woman who, say for example, I didn't enjoy cooking. I mean, I do enjoy cooking. I love to cook, but there are a lot of men who don't mind stepping in.
Sidebar, I do like to cook, but no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Just whatever
You cook
you're
very
like,
well.
don't force someone to be into a space where they won't flourish and then get frustrated because they're not flourishing. It's like that's not their strength.
Recognize the that they need, especially if you're good at that thing, recognize that they need you, they need that balance, and that's why you all found each other.
Yeah. And also be okay with the fact that your significant other may never want to do what it is that they're not good at. You know what I mean? Like they're never going to want to do it, and you have to be okay with that. Like, okay, that's fine. You know, I have to, this is a space where I am here to support you, and the relationship isn't worth me telling you to go to hell because you don't want to wash these dishes. It's fine.
Right.
It's not.
And if it is, it's a lot more than dishes going on.
Dishes, or they won't wash.
It's a lot more than dishes happening.
Right. But so Daphney, how old is your oldest son, Darius?
He'll be 16 in October.
60. You have a 16-year-old person
that's 6'4".
That's 6'4".
Yes.
And can't play a lick of basketball. No, I'm just playing.
No, my baby can play. Don't do my baby like that.
I know. But so that's another, interesting thing to see in the process of your maturation is motherhood, is how you handled it, is how it started for you. So through that process, what's some of the biggest things that you've learned as a mother, like that motherhood has taught you?
Patience is the biggest thing, because like I'm impatient. I'm an impatient person in general. You know what I'm saying? Not even just at home with my kids, just everywhere. I'm impatient. But my children kind of like pause me sometimes. And now where that pause lead to is up to them. But they give me pause sometimes, and it's like, as a mother, like it's like even this process now that I'm going through has changed me as a mother as well. I'm a brute force. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. And it's like my kids are the recipients of everything that I am. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, my kids are with me when no one else is. And so when I'm angry, when I'm upset, they get all of that. So it's like, I've had to kind of refine myself in certain moments and just kind of back up and be like, let me deal with you when I get myself together. Or let me go in your room, have a seat, let me get my life together, and then I'll come deal with whatever we got going on. You know what I'm saying? And it has, where I would smack a kid before now, I beat my kids. Everybody, please understand. I'm that kind of mother. I will beat my child wherever. But
spanking, you say beat, there's a negative connotation with the term beat.
I don't care about none of that. I beat my kids' ass when they need their ass beat, and it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? You don't like it, come get them. You know what I'm saying?
Go get them.
And you cannot beat them at your house to see how that work out. I said, nah, I beat my kid's ass. My 16-year-old, he could get it too. I give him fists now. You know what I'm saying? Like he then can't do that belt thing. I got to punch him. I go to his body.
Chop him down.
Be like that.
The views and opinions expressed are not those of. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, I had to do the disclaimer.
I thought it was just me.
Listen, please understand, I'm not the type of person that is kind and friendly to people telling me how to parent my kids.
Oh yeah, no, it ain't.
I'm not the type of person that cares about your opinion when it comes to how I parent my kids. That is not who I am as a person. So don't be surprised if I tell you to mind your damn business, because that's how I get down with my kids. But how I work with my kids is what works for us here in my house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not abusive in any way.
Thank you
my
for putting that out there. I appreciate that.
More. You know what I'm saying? But they young. I'm raising young men. in a world that ain't really built for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
have to, at least I feel like I have to instill certain things into my children. And you know, how I go about doing that is just how it's what I know.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So
I don't feel like I was abused. I got my ass whooped when I was a kid, and it you know, it prevented me from doing some things.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you know, like I said, I don't believe in abusing children and things like that. I don't believe that children should be hit for everything. I'm not that type of person. I feel like it kind of fuels that anger that we see in some of our kids, that abusiveness that, you know, some people engage in with their kids. That's not who I am, but I am a disciplinarian, and you will respect me in my house. And
Yeah.
it's just that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. So you have 3 sons, and which one is your favorite? I'm just messing with y'all.
My youngest.
I was joking. You're not supposed
People
to
who
have
say
a
they
favorite.
don't
Don't do
have
that.
a favorite child are lying. They're lying.
You have one that you closer to,
Everybody
but
has
ain't nobody.
a favorite
It's
child.
not no favorite. You're not supposed to have a favorite
That's some
baby.
bullshit. Everybody has a favorite child. My youngest is my baby. I love him. Everything he do makes me happy.
I
My
wasn't
oldest
expecting
son
that
is
answer.
aggravating. If I was 16, I wouldn't like my oldest child. He's annoying. He aggravates me. He does stuff that's
I
just
love
the
it.
stupidest
I love it. I
in
love
the
I mean,
world.
but isn't that what being 16 is
He
about,
does.
though? Especially for
Yeah.
boys, like being 16 is a
Oh
stupid
yeah,
age.
my kid's stupid. Like he's a stupid kid. Like
Like some of the
he
dumbest
does the
stuff.
dumbest stuff I've
Yeah.
ever seen
Yeah,
in
like
my life. Like I question my parenting sometimes. Like I have had moments where I was like, I'm gonna just take me out and start over from the top because I messed up somewhere. Like this kid is crazy. But
Yeah.
you know, they kids, and you know, I was stupid when I was 16, and you know, I expected that he would be stupid.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't proved me wrong.
yeah, they say it's
He's a smart.
a
No, seriously though, he's a smart kid. He, you know, but he just raising kids in the city, man. It's just such a different experience now. Like it's so scary, and it's just like he's so unaware, and it's like, son, you don't see what's happening around you. Like he's so unaware, and that's partly my fault because I shelter my kids to a certain extent, but it's like
I think we
I don't
blame
know, it's
ourselves
weird.
though, right? Like you blame yourself, but it's more like what's around them. Like I was watching something that said, you know, it's kids that don't know a world that didn't have a 9/11, that didn't have a, you know, these things that we've gone through and lived through, and we're able to have a childhood before this happened, and it was less restricted, and it was less, you know, just a lot of the drama and stuff that's going on, and less, you know, politically fueled things that trickle down, like the guns in our neighborhoods and stuff like that, that cause traumatic situations for us, that for us it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is the worst thing, but they're living in it. And so building a certain level of you know, a certain censorness to it. I mean, like you know, it's desensitizing them to it is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so
Prime example, Dave, the young man that got killed in front of the school, the 15-year-old that they stabbed.
yeah, that was the school that
like
your kids go to, right?
Yeah, that, you know, my son, my 2 oldest sons go to KIPP, you know, and it was like it was the scariest moment of my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like 15, and I know my child is 15. I know how my child operate and think and move out here. You know what I'm saying? From what he shows me.
Yeah.
Because you never really know. You know what I'm saying? But my son, thank God, was home that day, so I didn't have to worry about if it was my child or not. You know what I'm saying? But it was like the scariest moment in the world for me, and it was just like, yo, like that could have been my child. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a parent, to think about sending your child to school in the morning and your child never come back home, like that is a horrifying thought for me as a mother. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it's like I went to my son and I'm like, you know, I need to make sure that you're safe. I need you calling me. I need you. And my son like, what are you talking about? Like, chill out. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, like, what do you mean? Like, they getting killed and stabbed in front of the school. Like, what is wrong with you? And he like, Mom, ain't nobody do it to me. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just like,
yeah. So I talk about, this a lot. I've talked about it with Mike, and when Patrice is here and any of the guests that have kids, I always ask them, like, it's so much, like, and I don't even think, we as kids dealt with as much. Like, I've dealt with like shootings and stuff, I went to Eastern, so it was stuff popping, but like with the pandemic and the whole, while that was going on, there was this whole movement with police brutality and the riots and caused by us seeing almost nightly police officers murdering Black kids for no reason, or for little reason or for no reason at all. And so as a parent of sons mostly, but with the village that you have, like, what kind of conversations do you have with them, or do you have conversations with them about this stuff and trying to equip them with what they need to, like you said, just make it home? Like,
I have to. You have to. If you're not having conversations with your sons and your daughters and your children that are, traveling out here in this world without you, you're making a mistake. Like, you have to, because, like I said, my sons, I was joking, when I said, he's a stupid kid. He's not a stupid kid, but he's oblivious to the things that are going on around him. So I have to keep him aware. I have to keep him on his toes. I have to make sure that he understands that it's real dangers out here, and it's not just the people that look like you and move like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be careful. And I get it, know your rights and all that stuff, but know your rights when I get there. Shut the hell up until I get there. Lay your ass down, do what they tell you to do, because it's going to be hell to pay if my baby get hurt out there. You know what I'm saying? And I have to drive that home regularly with my sons. I'm raising little Black boys, you know what I'm saying? That's going to grow up to be Black men. And they gonna grow up if I got anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's and I have to make them aware that there is people out there that don't want to see you grow up for no reason other than you are who you are. You look like what you look like. And I have to make them understand that. I'm hard on my children about that. I talk to my children daily. Like, my sons know, when you get out that building, you better call my phone. I need to know. If I don't hear from you by a certain amount of time, I'm coming up there. Because I need to put eyes on my child. I need to make sure that my child is all right. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't just the police. It's other kids that, don't have no guidance, and that, the world has made children and just people in general so scary. And so, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a lot it's just like, we turned into a bunch of punks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything is just, everything is just so watered down for them now. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like they not in touch with reality anymore. I and it's all, internet, like prime, what we was talking about, the whole crate thing. You know what I'm saying? Everything is internet. Everything is internet. Like, literally, I picked my kids from school and I pulled to the side of the road and watched a bunch of young men build this whole Olympic trial thing, and like actually try to run across it and fall and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, these kids are really crazy. Like, your head is stuck in the phone and in these electronics. And I have to keep my children aware that the world is bigger than that phone in the palm of your hand. It's more dangerous than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That people are out here with the intention of hurting you. Mm-hmm. And you have to drive that point home to your kids, even young girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just young Black boys anymore. Like, we got Black women that's being brutalized and things happening to them out there in the streets, and we got to make them aware too. Fortunately and unfortunately for me, I don't have any biological daughters, but I do have a stepchild who's 20 years old, in college, and you know what I'm saying, she moving around, and she was kind of green until she came around me because I'm like, listen, that ain't reality, baby. It's situations out here where people would try to hurt you.
Right.
And she's not, you out here and you moving around in the world and you oblivious to the things that's going on. You mess around and be in Mexico being sold. You better pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So get it together. Like, I have to keep my children on their toes, even if it seems harsh to them sometimes, because I'm very strict. Like, I don't allow my children in certain places, certain times, and you know what I'm saying? And they want to go, they want to be with their friends, but you just can't, because I can't, your friends ain't going in that casket with you when something terrible happens.
Right. Yeah. So that's, kind of how you got to be, like you said. Okay. Yeah. Mike said he had to step away for a second. He'll be back with us in a few minutes. He had a serious situation to handle. So I told him to flush and wash his hands when he was finished. No, I'm just playing now. But that was the mic though. But yeah, man, parenting is is a full-time job. It's something that I've seen, like I said, that I've seen you grow into, and to a degree of success that I can honestly say that I'm proud of. And I want to talk to you a little bit about like the aspect of co-parenting, because the reason I like this show.
Now you're getting into something.
See, well, and that's why I say I like to be solution based, because I see a lot of people do it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and it's like,
I did it wrong for a long time.
It's a tough thing to get. It's not an easy thing. So I'm not, getting on anybody. But I mean, when you see it, and I mean, it's tough. So, but what's the biggest thing that, or the biggest the rule, or the biggest, I'm trying to think out a word, like the thing that makes co-parenting work for you in the way that you're doing it?
So, okay, let me tell you what I've learned from co-parenting. The biggest lesson that I learned is knowing your partner before you have kids.
Okay.
Because if you don't take time to see how a person grew up, what that person's family values are, what their religious preferences are, and all of those things, that will eliminate a lot of the headache in co-parenting. You know what I'm saying? And jumping into relationships with people because they look good to you, and you know what I'm saying, you think they got it going on at the time, and then you got, you bring children into it, and then you miserable. You know what I'm saying? And you realize that it don't work, and then you fighting for custody, and you got somebody over here raising the kid this way, and then you raising your kid this way, and then every time your kid come home, you got to retrain your kid to the way. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. So you really, I encourage anybody that doesn't already have children or is not married and having children or whatever, to know who you laying down with. Like, know that person, like, for real. Because it'll save you a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of trauma for your children, and things like that when you know who you're dealing with. Right. For me personally, the biggest thing that I faced with my children is just trying to parent my way and my way only. And just not really being open to hearing someone else's suggestion about how I should be parenting my children. And as far as their biological father, we're in a good place, you know what I'm saying? And we weren't always in that place. And, he stepped up a lot to where he's a regular presence in his children's life, and he does what's necessary. Which is a help, especially when you move on and you start to kind of combine your homes with other people and things like that. And you get, those bonus parents and all that kind of, fancy names they call step parents now.
Right, yeah.
For my husband, it's been a different experience for him and I, just because he's not their biological father. And for his children, I'm not their biological mother. So you have that outside input that sometimes ain't needed or wanted. You know what I'm saying? And it's a difficult place to navigate through, because you have to be conscious of those other people.
Right.
And it's like you have to be respectful of their place in their children's lives. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, it takes some getting used to have to consider someone else's opinion when you're trying to do things with your children or your household, and you're trying to move, like, you know, we going out of town and it's just like, oh, well, make sure it's okay with, you know, their mom, that, you know, they can go and that she don't have nothing planned for them, and you know what I'm saying, and just kind of shifting your plans and incorporating other people into your life cycle. It can be difficult. And, you know, I always try to just remind my children and myself that we have to be respectful of this other person who might not have been there during the creation phase, but is there now and is very much involved in your life. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, respecting that the way that person was raised might not look like the way I was raised. So they might not interpret certain things the way I interpret them. And, you know, just kind of trying to be aware that other person matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And not kind of shutting them out in the decision-making processes and things like that. Like I've gotten good at talking with my husband and their father about things that are going on with the children. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of making sure that everybody understands what's happening.
Right.
And when you lack that, or when there's a break in communication with the other parents and things like that, it's the situation can get really difficult. And kids are resilient, but kids are treacherous on you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they can be manipulative in those situations.
Yeah, like they can be. I know, just personally speaking, my children, they was running amok for a minute, and I was just kind of like on the side, like, oh, what the hell is happening? Like, you know what I'm saying? These ain't the kids I raised. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where does disrespect come from? Where this kind of stuff come from? But it's just like they get it in their head, like, you know, you're not my dad, you're not my mom, or whatever the case is, and they don't. Kids want what they want. You know, some kids want to see their parents together. They want to see their parents, you know, they don't see all the horrible things that went on behind the closed doors because we protected them from that. So it's like, you know, they want to see their parents together. They want to see them successful, and it ain't going to be that way. And they don't want that. So, you know, it's just being aware all the time, and just keeping the level of respect for that person visible.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting. No, I'm just playing.
It can be. It can be.
I was about to look, as I'm listening to Daphney, I was like, ooh, that is so heavy.
yeah. But it's you know, the reward of it is definitely worth it. But I mean, like what you spoke to, I think speaks to a lot of, you know, what I was saying about the selection process, about knowing who you're getting involved with. And that's something that we as a community lost for a long time. And so it leaves a lot of people in situations, like you said, people get involved with somebody and have a baby. Like, you'd be surprised how many people I've talked to, and I'm sure you guys have too, that, you know, they have a child with somebody and they be like, oh, I don't want that person to know where I live because they crazy. I don't want that person to this and that because they crazy. But you laid down with this person. You made another human being. You tied yourself to this person for 18 years. And I mean, everybody makes
not
mistakes.
18 years. You tied yourself to that person for life.
Yeah.
Don't stop when a kid turn 18.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
I got a 20-year-old daughter right now that just came in here and raided us last night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, man, college life get real.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it's like, even if she wasn't in school, I would still do for my baby. Like, that's my baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going, I don't care if she's 18 or 25. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's still my baby. If she need me, I'm going to come.
Yeah. And that's that, I think, you know, that's something that came from the way we all were raised, you know, in our family, you know, dynamic. Yeah. And so, yeah, like I said, man, it's dope to see the person that you become from, you know.
The mean, evil little person.
Well, not even, because you weren't always mean and evil. No, I'm just playing. No, you weren't the mean and evil. You had a streak in you though. Like it was, you had, and you're always smart. And so, like you said, you always had like your wit and you had a sharp tongue. And I think, and Aisha had spoken to like the women, women cultivating that part of their personality more, the ability to damage people more verbally than anything. And
I mean, it's not because we want to be that words,
Yeah, we're cunning. I mean, that's the tool that God gave us.
Yeah, that's how she puts it. Yeah, and I mean, it's true, so about both of y'all personally, I know. No, I'm just not. But
no, man, I'm super sharp.
yeah. Stay on your P's and your Q's. But yeah, man, this has been an amazing conversation. I always enjoy talking to you, man. I'm the whole pandemic and stuff has put us in a situation where we haven't been able to really get together and have the gatherings and stuff that we usually do, or just sit and chat, like we used to. Like I said, you and Kiki are the closest sisters that I had, so I always appreciate the time that we're able to have those heart-to-hearts and things like that. And I thank you so much for coming and joining us today and talking to us a little bit about your life, and hopefully somebody was able to gain something from your situations and how you were able to persevere through adversity. So it's a blessing, man. I'm so glad that you are where you are, that you're learning what you're learning, and that you're working it out with a positive attitude and just being dope. I always tell people one of the reasons I do this show is just to get people on here I admire and tell them why. I don't think it's too many people in this world that I admire more than Daphney Barnes, and that's real. Briscoe. I always said I'm sorry, Thank you for correcting me, because I know if Rob was high date.
Look, he saw the flyer and he was like, oh, so we going back to Bonds now?
I did on the flyer too, didn't I? Oh,
yeah, you did.
Why you ain't say something? Cool. I would have changed it. Oh man,
It's cool.
Tell him that's on me. That's on me. I apologize. I owe him a grill. I get him a grill, but yeah, man. But Daphney Briscoe, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna change the flyer too. That's my bad. So why you ain't say something? East used to be my quality control. I don't, remember I used to send you the flyers.
Yeah, beforehand, yeah.
Yeah, and she'd be like, no, you got to change that. And now look how I'm blaming somebody else for it, because I don't.
Yeah, I like how you did that.
Ain't got nothing to do with her. Like, it was all my mistake, and my apologies though. But
it's like you didn't go to the wedding. No, you didn't go to the wedding.
Right? Yeah, I did. I was definitely there. Right. Yeah, but yeah, man, Daphney Briscoe. I apologize, but yeah. So I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation and just talk a little bit about something that I think people need to hear more about, because you see people dealing with things and it's tough because I feel like I learned a lot through my process, like when my father passed and grandma, and dealing with those things. Loss is such a powerful thing. Like I say, everybody grieves in their own way. But if you another thing that you said that I completely agree with is that everything is a learning situation. If you look at everything as a learning process, you minimize your regrets. And so I try to pick up the lesson. And I think that you're, extremely proficient at that too, at gaining the lesson from these situations. And that's why, I was asking you so much, what it taught you and stuff like that, because it's always profound. And I appreciate that. But yeah, you learn a lot from it. And, it's just, there's a wealth of information in that. And so that's why I wanted to, have you talk a little bit about it too, because I feel like people can learn so much. And maybe help somebody with what they're going through. So I hope that's what happened this evening. And if it didn't, forget all y'all now. But
if it didn't, you learned some things about that.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff that you didn't know. But man, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. On behalf of myself, Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, our feminine energy, Miss Aisha, our illustrious guest, Daphney Briscoe. And Mike, I don't know what happened to Mike. I think he fell off the bed is what happened, and so he didn't want us to see. Oh Lord. And so
that last swig of Parmesan.
The Parmesan, he gets some every
he
time.
was drinking Parmesan.
That's what he had. Yeah. And so But yeah, man, on behalf of all of us, thank y'all for checking out another episode of Neighborish Livecast. We'll be back next week with more interviews, more entertainment, more information, and more fun. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great week. And yeah, keep grinding. If you're going through something, if you're going through grief, Daphney said, get help. Don't try to do it by yourself. Reach out.
Call on your village.
Call on your village. And if you don't have a village, it's also people you can call on. I wrote down a phone number somewhere. Oh yeah, the National Helpline. It's for a lot of different things, but they also have grief counselors and things like that on hand. So if you're going through stuff and you need that village and you don't have it, they have people there to talk to. The number is 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-4357. Reach out to somebody. Inbox us here at the show. We'll come to your house and talk to you. We might not. That might have been. I might have jumped out there a little bit. But
yeah,
call
we're
the
not gonna do the
helpline.
pandemic.
David will do that.
Well, I won't either. That's why I had to pull it back because I'm like, wait, because if you cough one time,
We'll send you a Zoom link. We'll send
you the Zoom. See, you're gonna take Mike's place. He's done. He's out now. I'm just playing. All right, y'all. Have a great week, man. I love all you guys. Daphney, thank you so much. Ish, it's always a pleasure.
Love y'all.
Night.